I'd happily tracksuit bottoms. But luckily, I hope this chair is going to disguise the fact that
You're safe.
I'm in shorts. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
So we're going to start with the broadcast.
Good, thanks. All good, yeah. Pollen problems.
Yeah. Ready, James?
Hi.
Okay, James from Sky Sports News, thank you.
Roy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sunny afternoon. It's good news for players from Michael Olise committing his then recent future to the club at Sheffield.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the best possible news that we could have. We've been concerned, as one is concerned, when a club of Chelsea's stature start to take an interest in a player and, suggest that a move to them might be the best bet. I've always hoped that wouldn't be the case, and that Michael would realise that at such a young age his future here is very bright, and we can help him move very quickly to another level if that's going to happen in time. But of course his decision has been his, and I'm just delighted now that the club, and I must congratulate Steve Parish and Doug Freeman on the fantastic job they've done in persuading him that, with this pressure from the outside, and that this is your place, this is where we think you will progress in the right way, you will develop in the right way. And of course, as a coach and manager, it's perfect, because I really enjoyed the 10 games last year. I thought the squad was looking really very, very interesting. So when the chairman asked me, would you come back and do another year, I had that in mind. Of course, to lose to players like Wilf Zaha first and then Olise, that would have changed to some extent my perception of it all. So for me, it's a red letter day.
Did you speak to the player yourself and tell him your thoughts and your opinions on his future?
I had a long chat with him when the subject was first broached, but that's a long time ago. That's pretty much in the pre-season, soon after he got back. I had a long chat with him and made it clear to him, of course, how much I enjoy working with him, what respect I have for him as a player, and what potential I think he has as a player. And in that, of course, I suggested that I thought that being at Crystal Palace and playing here would be the best option. But I also made it clear to him, I'm not going to put you under unnecessary pressure. You've got pressure from all sides. I can only tell you what I think, honestly, from my side. I'm always here for you to speak to me if you want to discuss it further. And as a result, I speak to you every day. We have a conversation. But I've actually shied away from actually asking, what are you going to do? And give him further advice, because I did one day briefly in passing. I said, what do you want me to say? You know what I think. You know what I've got to say, and hope we get the answer we want. That's what it's been like.
How challenging is it for Crystal Palace when you hear of a club like Chelsea? We've seen what they've been like in the transfer window, actively making a lot of purchases, a lot of young players coming in as well. How much of a challenge is it for a club like Palace to push those advances away?
It's very difficult, and we're in quite a big group of players. I mean, there's a very wealthy group at the top of our league, in the Premier League, who are spending enormous sums of money. From the hundreds of billions, even pushing up towards the billions of pounds, and that isn't what Crystal Palace are capable of doing, and it's not something which I would even suggest they should even think about doing, because we've done pretty well so far with the way the club's been operating. But of course, when you do get a team like the one that did so well at the end of last year, and you see that potential, it's frustrating to realise that sometimes these clubs are going to come in and with their wealth and even with the prestige and glamour of certain of those clubs, they're going to maybe tempt your players away. But it's a fact of life, and I think that you can only deal with it in the best possible way. And I think we're very fortunate here that in our chairman and our sporting director, we have two Palace people to start with who fully understand what Crystal Palace is and what Crystal Palace needs to be also in the future, while consistently trying to improve the team. And they have been capable of making certain that when we have lost players, the money's been reinvested, or we've found new ones, and in particular, this particular group of players that came pretty much at the same time, I think they've done wonderful work for the club, and they've really shown what a good job the recruitment has been here.
On Michael, obviously he's out injured at the moment. When are you expecting him to return? Because I can imagine when he does, knowing this news, a lot of Crystal Palace fans want to give him a big warm welcome onto the pitch.
No, you're absolutely right, James. It's difficult with it. It was a nasty injury. I see Wilf, who had the same injury, has just returned to playing again. I think we're fortunate in the sense that he will be at the lower end of the scale because he's kept himself very fit. He's worked very hard on his rehabilitation, and he wants to get back on the field as quickly as possible. So whatever time scale it was, I'm certain he'll shave a bit off, but it won't be for a while yet, unfortunately, because of the severity of the injury.
And on to transfer business. Stephen Dougie, how are they working at the moment with a couple of weeks left at the window? They got any surprises up the sleeves for you?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they had some, because they're good in those last weeks of the transfer window. But Michael's decided today that has changed one aspect of our work. You know, to lose both a left-sided forward midfield player and a right-sided forward midfield player, that would have, thrown us into some degree of difficulty. But I think at the moment we have a very, very good 11 anyway. Now Hughes, who will be fitting in soon, and Michael are adding to that, if you like. We've got very good cover at the back. It seems to me now we don't need anywhere near as much as we would have done had we lost Michael. He has solved a number of problem areas for us.
Back onto last weekend, there's been a clip that I'm sure you know about that's gone viral, that everybody's talking about, about your touchline incident with Max Lowe. Max described it as, he said he felt terrible about the incident. I know you spoke about
I hope he shouldn't do that. I mean, I don't make anything, really. I mean, I get caught up in the game too much sometimes, so I was really caught up in the game. It was an important time. We were playing well, and I was desperate for that second goal, and even more desperate that they didn't equalise. And I wasn't really concentrating that much at all, and all of a sudden I felt a tackle coming my way, which I should have been much more gracious about, and I regret that I abused him verbally afterwards for the tackle, because it really was nothing at all. And it was giving a few people a bit of fun watching it, and good luck to them, but it's not something I will ever watch again, that's for sure.
Have the players said anything to you about it?
I think they're too kind to. I think they're too kind to. Luckily not.
Right, moving on to Arsenal, Mikel Arteta today described you as an inspiration. First of all, what do you make of hearing words like that from the Arsenal manager, and how would you describe him?
Well, we don't know each other very well, of course. I mean, I have great admiration for the job he's done at Arsenal. That's a big club, and he's come in and done a really big job. And I thought last season they were outstanding in every respect, and I have a lot of sympathy, really, to get that close and to do so well, to be overtaken by the machine, really, that to some extent is Man City, who are also a wonderful football team. It must have been a gut-wrenching occasion, but they've come back strongly from that. He started this season strongly. I think it will be another very good season for them. We're expecting, of course, an exceptionally tough game. It's always hard to play Arsenal. They seem to always do well against us. Even if we play well, they seem to find a way of getting the winning goal. So we realise that we're playing against a very good team, a very well organised team, and a team really that I think everyone in the country expects will be fighting for honours at the end of the season. But luckily, as you mentioned, we go there on the back of a good start in terms of the 3 points, but also a good start in terms of the performance in our eyes. So it's a good time, I think, to get this game played, and I think everyone at the club and all our fans will be boosted by the knowledge that one of these very talented young players that we've been able to bring to the club is still going to play for the club.
Final couple from me. The Women's World Cup, England in the final, Lionesses have been superb. What do you make of their tournament so far that they've been having?
It's impressed me because it hasn't been as plain sailing as everyone suggested it was going to be. And I think the way that they have actually gone about making certain that they've done what's needed to be done in the games to win them, to withstand, if you like, the euphoria that everyone was trying to build up around the team and suggest that you're such a good team, you're just going to go in there and roll over everybody. I'm sure that Serena didn't feel that way, or the coaching staff. I'm sure the players didn't feel that way. And I think they've done extremely well to, get through to the final with still probably some of their best moments ahead of them, because we all know, and it's been well documented, that they can actually blow teams away. They haven't been able to as yet, but maybe the time is waiting around the corner and they will bring home a World Cup trophy for England.
Have you got a final message to them before they step out on Sunday morning?
Well, the only message really is one of immense congratulations and to wish good luck, but also maybe just to remind them of what they've achieved by winning the Euros and now getting to a World Cup final. I think they have moved women's football in England to a totally different plane, and they must be extremely proud of that, and one hopes they're going to get the glittering prize at the end of it. But they've really won an amazingly big prize, because they put women's football on the map here in England in a way that 10 years ago I don't think we could have imagined would happen.
Right, appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Afternoon.
Going back to Arsenal, obviously they've made some reinforcements this summer. They've lost Yuri Timber to the season injury. But what are you expecting from Man United? Anything different to what you saw when you played them at the Emirates Stadium about a month ago?
I wasn't at that game. That was Paddy McCarthy who took charge of that game. So I actually didn't have a chance to be on the bench or in the dugout against them last year. I'm expecting them to be extremely good on the ball. I think that their passing and movement is exceptional. I think they've got some unbelievably gifted players as well who are hard, if you like, to quieten down in the game. And of course they've got momentum. The momentum really of knowing that last year, but for an unfortunate period at the end of the season, we actually would have won the league. So we're expecting to play a potential Premier League winner. We're expecting to see them come here and produce all their skills. And I think they will show us the respect to make certain that they bring their best game to Selhurst Park, unfortunately. But all it means is we've got to certainly bring our best game to Selhurst Park and hope that our fans can sometimes weave that magic that they do in getting extra ounces of energy and play from the team that maybe I, as a manager, can't really expect them to do.
I was at the game, I covered it, at Nottingham Forest at the weekend, and it was interesting. They were comfortable for so long, and then Forest scored, and what with all the added time, Forest were really pushing for that equaliser. I just wondered, in general, with the rule changes this season, how do you feel games could be impacted, particularly tight games, when there is so much added time?
Well, it'll work for the clubs who've got the best players and who are best at keeping the ball. So the teams with the biggest possession statistics, who keep the ball well, who move the ball around well, who you have to work very hard to keep at bay. The extra time will suit them, because as the game goes on, the players that have been keeping them at bay possibly and working very hard to do so will be tiring. You get much more tired, as everybody knows, chasing the ball than actually passing it around and keeping it within your team. So I think we will help those teams to some extent. But I'm not complaining about that. That's the nature of the Premier League. There is a hierarchy, and you've got your place in the hierarchy. So we'll have to come to terms with that as Crystal Palace and be aware that if we are under the cosh at some stage, because a team playing us has been so good, like a Man City or an Arsenal can be, that don't keep looking up and waiting for the 90 minutes, because it might say 112.
And in terms of the health of your team going into the game against Arsenal, do you have any injuries to contend with? I mean, how's Mark Gay?
No, he's fine. Yeah, no, that was an unfortunate cramp episode. No, they've trained extremely well this week. We have exactly the same group that we had going to Sheffield. We still don't have Will Hughes. We still don't have Malcolm Ebaway because he's not been there from the start. The young Brazilian boy Mateus is still in rehabilitation, and we don't quite know when he will be there for us. And of course, we don't have Michael. So they're the four big names. Otherwise, we have the same 18 players plus goalkeepers that we took with us to Sheffield United.
I know you asked post-match after the game against Sheffield United about Vicente Guaita, and you said it was a club issue.
Yeah.
That was one of the tweet he put out.
Yeah.
I just wondered, do you know if the plan was funded about that tweet?
I don't know, actually, no, to be perfectly honest. I've had other things on my mind. It was a strange tweet, took us all a little bit by surprise, but it was a club matter. The club are dealing with it. They're dealing with Vicente Guaita's situation, which I find particularly sad, because he's been a great club servant. I worked with him for 4 years and 4.5 in actual fact. So I'm sad that it's reached this sort of level, but the club's working very hard to find a solution to it.
And one final one from me. You've got a praise for Jefferson Lerma on Saturday. I just wondered, how do you think he's changed the dynamics of this side?
Well, he's a very dynamic player, so I think whenever he plays, he would change the energy levels, a bit like Czech Dukareji when he came into. It's enabled us to play really with two players in the Dukare position, and I think that has helped us in many ways. It freed up one or two more of the attacking players, and in particular it's given us maybe a bit of an extra cover, which you sometimes need in the defensive area when you lose the ball. So we're very, very happy with him. I think he was an excellent club signing, and Olise almost feels like a new signing now, because for a long time we've feared the worst, and with him and Jefferson Lerma, that's two very interesting signings, plus a young Brazilian who everyone speaks very highly of, and Doug followed very carefully and is convinced that he has the potential to help us become a better team too. All those things have given me great heart today that we can look forward to another decent season here at Crystal Palace. Pleasure.
Alex.
Just the one from me. How quickly did this situation change? Did you wake up this morning knowing that Michael Olise was going to sign a new contract, or was it a surprise to you?
No, it's a massive surprise, yeah. I don't know exactly when the meeting took place between the chairman and the player and his agent. So it did come as a big surprise after training. But they can spring as many of those surprises on me as they like, and I don't care when they do it. And so I don't think I'd have been in a different frame of mind either before or after training. I'm just delighted to get the news. Pleasure.
Folks, that concludes the broadcast section.